Probably one of the biggest pieces of news that's captured a lot of attention out there in the press is Microsoft's announcement that they're going to move into the tablet business or create slates. And there's a lot of different manufacturers supporting and so forth. But the bottom line is sometime in the fall of 2012, there's going to be a number of what we know as tablet devices. Microsoft's calling them slates. And this is a simulation of what one will look like. And I just want to show you here just a couple of things. Notice that I can go into a touch mode, and this is the best I could do as far as generating something like this for you. And this is actually a simulator that's running in Visual Studio. But this lets you take a look at kind of what this is going to look like and feel like, and it also will allow me to demo the application snapping feature. So first of all, you'll notice that the resolution on these things is going to be considerably wider than you're normally used to with a desktop computer. But again, the beauty of Windows 8, now everything you have seen so far in the course and most of the examples you're going to see here are on a desktop computer, and I'm using a mouse. Well, in this, you're actually looking at what it's going to look like on a slate. Notice the display ratio is much different. This is a 1366 by 768 pixel display, and Windows 8 looks a little different. And notice I can swipe and move over to the left, or I could just grab the bar down here and drag it. Okay, but the bottom line is that it looks and behaves just the same. Okay, and so notice I just went to the desktop on a slate device. To get back to the start menu, I will click the hardware button down here, and by clicking that hardware button, I can switch back and forth from my desktop to my app. Now notice, since I'm logged in as Mark Long, even on this app, I have the exact same setup that I had before. Okay, and so I can kick these things off and run them. Now what I want you to see here is how we can use this with some of the gestures. For example, if I want to see the charms menu, I just simply swipe from the right side of the machine and swipe left. That's what I did. Notice I'll click the screen, make it go away. I'm going to start here. I'm going to left click to simulate it, and then I'm just going to swipe left, and it pulls out the charms button. And then I can click on settings, and it takes me in just like it does when I'm working with it with a mouse in a desktop environment. Okay, now let's open a couple of things. Okay, we will open Internet Explorer. Okay, and so that opens Internet Explorer. Notice it opened the desktop version of that, and so I'll just minimize that. Then I'll go back out to the desktop, and I will open Photos. Okay, and then I'll go back to the desktop, and notice all my photos are there. And then I'll open Calendar. Okay, and so Calendar will open up, and again the simulator here could have a couple of little minor issues, but we'll try to get around those. Now if I want to see my open apps, I just swipe off and back, and there they are. And then I can just click on the one that I want. Well, I want to go to the desktop. Well, I want to go back to this, and so swiping out, and there it is. Okay, so I won't go through all these. There is a document in your work files folder called Windows Gestures that will kind of go through all of these, and you can see what's going on. Now notice if I want to see any kind of settings, let me get it back out to the desktop or to the start screen. If I just swipe up from the bottom, I can see options here. If there are any options up here, I can swipe down and it brings these up. There's just a lot of cool things you can do with this. If I want to see options on a tile, I just swipe on it just like I just did, and you see it brought those options up. Just barely swipe down again and it will make it go away. I'm going to open my apps again, and I will go to the photos, and to close that I just click at the top, drag to the bottom, right, and it goes away just like you will on a real slate. Now what I would strongly recommend you do is, as soon as you can get your hand on one of these slates, the big box computer companies will have these, you'll see them in a lot of different places, get one in your hands and play with it. I've been able to do that at some developer conferences. It's a really cool environment, very responsive, very smooth. You're going to like what you see. Okay, so anyway, that's what it looks like on the Slate, and this is the strength of Windows 8. If you remember, on the desktop, okay, let me jump back out here on the desktop, on my local machine. Notice that is what it looks like on my machine, okay? Notice my photos, my desktop, Kindle's here, right? Well, if I go to the desktop, notice my photos, it's not running here, okay? I don't have it live here, but if I go into photos, you can see my pictures are there. You know, there's my SkyDrive pictures that you saw before. Here's the pictures, you know, here's, you know, the dog, the concert, and I can just swipe across these and the road, and then I can obviously close this down. It's all there. Okay, so that is the strength of Windows 8. If I put this on a Windows smartphone, same functionality, same activity. That's a quick look at what Windows is going to look like in the Slate interface.